P is a rectangle, and we have some coordinates. And I went ahead and I plotted the coordinates on here, but I'm not going to connect them. We don't really need to. Eric. So, first thing I want to do is I want to come over here and look to see how do I prove something is a rectangle. And it says here, proving a quadrilateral is a rectangle. Prove that it is a parallelogram first. Then show that the diagonals are congruent. Or show that it has a right angle by using slope. So let's remember that for a minute. Because first we have to prove that it is a parallelogram. So we come up here, proving a quadrilateral is a parallelogram. And there's 4 methods. Show that the diagonals bisect each other by showing the midpoints of the diagonals are the same. Show both pairs of opposite sides are parallel by showing they have the same slopes. Show both pairs of opposite sides are equal by using distance. Or show one pair of sides is both parallel and equal. Now, as I was reading this, I realized that there's 2 that are pretty much the same. Because we want to prove it has a right angle by using slope, and we want to prove that they're parallel by using slope. So I can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So the first thing I have to do is find the slopes of all the lines. So to find slope, remember it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And it doesn't matter which is your x1 and y1. You can make this one x1, y1, and this one x2, y2. We just have to be consistent.
Miss, if you do those 2, what if you do the bottom 2?
Well, I'm going to have to do the bottom 2 as well. I'm going to have to do all 4 sides.
But what if you do,
I'll go ahead and draw
you
it.
see you did the longer sides. What if you do the 6-4 and then the 8-0?
I'm going to be doing that as well. I
No,
have
I'm
to do
saying,
all 4
what if you do
sides.
those 2, like?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
I'm just starting with this particular line. I want to find the slope of it. So I've got,
So it doesn't matter which set of coordinates you choose?
I'm doing this line first. I'm finding that slope first. So 4 minus 0 is my y2 minus y1. Since this is my y2, this is my x2. So 6 minus negative 2, we change that to plus, because when you minus a negative, it's plus. And that's going to equal 4 over 8, which reduces to 1/2. So the slope of this line is 1/2. So we might as well do this bottom line to see if they're parallel.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got 0 minus negative 4, because I'm going to make this one my
So it's plus.
x2, y2, or my x1, y1. And this is my x2, y2 this time. So 0 minus negative 4 would become 0 plus 4, and 8 minus 0.
Yeah, it is.
So it's 4 over 8, which is 1/2. So we know that these 2 lines are parallel. Now I have to prove the other 2 lines are parallel, because right now we're just proving it's a parallelogram. I'll make this x2, y2. So we've got negative 4 minus 0 over 0 minus negative 2. So I've got negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2. And on here, I'll just make this my x1, y1. Y2 is 4 minus 0 over 6 minus 8. 4 over negative 2, which is negative 2. So these 2 sides are parallel. So I've proven that it's a parallelogram. Is it a rectangle? Are these lines perpendicular?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this slope is opposite and inverse of this slope. So I know that this is definitely a rectangle. So did I have to do a lot of equations? No. I think the one I did online, I checked the 4 sides and then I checked the 4 angles, which was actually more work. But you can do it that way. More than one way to do a math problem and still get the right answer. So the next one rhombus. So here's PQRS. I'll go ahead and call these in. I can do this.
On that
Okay.
angle, it looks like a parallelogram. It's like a
Well, let's find out. To prove that a quadrilateral is a rhombus, let's see. Prove that the diagonals are perpendicular, or prove that a pair of adjacent sides are equal, or prove all four sides are equal. Okay? But first you have to prove it's a parallelogram. So let's go back up here and see if there's something that we can use for both. Oh, both pairs of opposite sides are equal, or off. Well, if we're going to prove that the two opposite sides are equal, then all we have to do is use the distance formula, and we can kill two birds with one stone. So once again, this time we're using the distance formula, which is the square root of y2 minus y1 squared plus x2 minus x1 squared. So we'll check SR first. And once again, it doesn't matter which ones you make your ones and your twos as long as you're consistent. So I've got 7 minus 5 squared plus 8 minus 4 squared, which is going to be the square root of 2 plus 4, and they're squared, which is 4 plus 16, which is the square root of 20. Now, I don't have to break that down because all I'm trying to do is find out if the sides are the same or if they're different or what. So that was this line. Let's check and see if this line is the same. So we're going to do the square root of 3 minus 1 squared plus 6 minus 2 squared. You do see where I'm getting the numbers, correct? Okay. So once again, we have 2 squared plus 4 squared, which is 4 plus 16, which is the square root of 20. So we know these opposite sides are the same length, right? They're both the square root of 20. So now let's check the other two sides and see if they're congruent to one another. So I'm going to say the square root of 5 minus 1 squared plus 4, say one thing and write the other, 4 minus 2 squared, which is going to be 5 minus 1 squared is 4, plus 4 minus 2 is 2, 16 plus 4. Hey, that side's the same as the other two sides. But we want to make sure that this side is the same as this one now. So once again, we do 7 minus 3 squared plus 8 minus 6 squared. And we're going to get 7 minus 3 is 4 squared plus 8 minus 6 is 2 squared. 16 plus 4 squared. So I've proven that this side is congruent to this side and this side is congruent to this side because they have the same length. So it's definitely a parallelogram. And then I've also proven that it's a rhombus because one of the characteristics of a rhombus is that all four sides are equal. And I got that. They're all four equal. So I didn't have to do a lot of problems, just a few, just to prove it.
Yeah.
So what you can do is look and see, okay, I want to prove it's a rhombus, look at those methods. They all say prove it's a parallelogram first. Look at these and see if there's something that you can use for both. Yes, sir.
No, I'll say I got it.
You got it now?
Yeah.
So there's one more problem. You guys did not have this problem on the test that you took. My honors kids did, but I thought it would be interesting to see if you guys can see the connection.
I can do it.
So we've got this graph, and this is not going to be very good. A is going to be at 0, 0. D is going to be at 4, 10. C is going to be at 10, 6. And then B is going to be at, I can't read it, So I've got this quadrilateral. And then inside of it, they inscribed another quadrilateral that looks like this. And this is H, and this is E, and this is F, and this is G. And the instructions that they had to do is they had to prove that E, F, G, and H was a parallelogram by using midpoints. So I need to find the midpoints between E and G and H and F, and they need to be the same. Well, I don't have coordinates for those, so what do I have to do first?
Use the midpoint formula.
Yeah, between here and here. So I've got midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So the midpoint here is going to be 4 plus 10, which is 14 over 2, which is 7. So that's my x coordinate. And then 10 plus 6 is 16, divided by 2 is 8. Okay, good job. So if I keep doing that, 10 and 8 is 18, divided by 2 is 9. 6, do I need to work these out?
No.
Okay. 6 and 0 is 6, divided by 2 is 3, so that's my midpoint here. 0 and 8 is 8, divided by 2 is 4. 0 and 0 is 0, so it's just 0. And then this one, 4 and 0 is 4, divided by 2 is 2. And 10 and 0 is 10, divided by 2 is 5. So now I have my midpoints of E, F, G, and H. Okay, yes, sir?
What if, are they always gonna come out to even numbers?
No.
Like I'm saying, like what if you get like, 10 plus 7 is 17, and then 17 divided by 2 is like 8.5. So,
Then put 8.5. That means when you were graphing it, your point would be at 8.5,
alright.
whether it's the x or the y. Because let's do the midpoint of these points to see if they are in fact a parallelogram. 7 plus 4, 11. 11 divided by 2,
5.5.
5.5. 8 plus 0, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So the midpoint between here and here is at 5.54. Let's check the other way. 2 and 9?
Yeah.
11 divided by 2?
5.5.
5.5. 5 and 3? 8 divided by 2? 4. So is that a parallelogram?
No. Yeah.
Because they both have the coordinates 5.54 at the midpoint.
Yeah. Okay, I get it.
Alright, questions? Do I need to do another problem like this?
Yeah.
You think you have it?
Yeah.
You got it.
I got it?
Do
Who's
another
got
one.
it? Thumbs up.
Do another one for practice.
Who needs some more practice?
Me.
would.
I just want to see you do it again.
You want one more?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do one more, I don't mind.
Alright.